siin olen Mängunurgast ning tere tulemast sellisesse mängu nagu The Stanley Parable. See on selline huvitav mäng. Ma isegi hakka nagu pikalt sellest rääkima, sest noh, selleks, et aru saada, siis te peate nägema, mis see mäng on. Seda väga raske, või üpriski raske seletada. See on selline vähe nagu mindfuck mäng. Sel mängule meeldib huiata suga ja see on nagu... Seal mängus sa pead mõtlema natuke väljaspool kasti. See on nii-öelda, see on selline story mäng, aga mitte päris selline story mäng, mida me siiani seal kanalil nagu harjunud mängima oleme. See on vähe selline, vähe teistsugusem. Ma mõtlesin, see on päris pikka aega mul selle Steam'i seal library's istunud ning ma mõtlesin, noh, ma tahaks selle uuesti millegi läbi mängida ning miks mitte teha seda video jaoks. Aga ma ei tea, kui midagi rohkemat pole, siis lähme mängu.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Hea küll, siin me siis oleme. Nagu lugu väga lihtne. Me oleme Stanley, selline töötaja, selline tüüpiline. Ning meie siin siis selles office'is on kõik kaduma läinud. Aga vaatame, uurime, kas me leiame siis siin. Kuhu need kõik... See mäng... Nagu ma ütlesin, selle mängule meeldib nagu... Seal on hästi palju sellist neljanda seina lõhkumist, nii et nagu igasuguseid mingi saladusi ja mingi easter egg on igale poole laiali pandud, nii et siin nagu... Siin on nagu... Väga kasulik oleks see, kui me vaataks ringi ja uuriks natukene ja mitte ei läheks päris seda ühte. What the fuck? See siin küll ei peaks olema. Ma päris kindel, et see ei ole mängu osa. Ma arvan, tead, ma ei tea enam, mida usaldada. Siin peaks nagu loading või nagu järgmine ruum. What the f... Nagu selles mõttes, ma ei tea, mida siin mängus usaldada ja mida mitte. Oota korra. Nii, okei, vaatame, kas see nüüd...
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hea küll, okei, ja nüüd see laadis ära siis. Ma ei tea, mis selle enne viga oli. See on täiesti tüüpiline ja tavalise välimusega koht. Ausõna.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ja nagu te kuulete, see jutustaja, kes meil siin taustal räägib, ta annab selliseid käske ja tema põhimõtteliselt nagu närreidib, kuhu me lähme ja mida me teeme. Ja nagu ta ütles, et Stanley läks vasakule. Aga sul on ka võimalus mitte seda teha, mis ta sulle ütleb ja minna näiteks paremale.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja võt, see on hämmastav, sa põhimõtteliselt lood ise endale oma lugu.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ma ei tea, jumala normaalne ruum näeb välja. Siin on sinakas ja ilusad maalid on seinade peal ja siin on mingid... No,
yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
No ongi, vaata, siin on mingid külmad joogid, ainult 1.25, see on päris kallis, ainult on $1.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Kuule, tead, mul ei ole vaja puid alla panna, ma teen, mis ma tahan.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Vaat see on see, millest ma räägin, selline neljanda seina lõhkumine. Okei, lähme edasi.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ja okei, täpselt samamoodi. Me saaksime ka minna edasi, aga me juba korra nagu... Vau. Mida seda olin? Me juba korra rikkusime nii-öelda reegleid. Me ei kuulanud sõna, nii et oleme veits nagu...
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
Miks see nii palju valikuid mulle annab? Ei, ma ei taha. Või ma tahan või? Ma ei tea, kas ma... Oh my god. Sest see nagu... See lugu täielikult muutub sellest, mida sa olened, seda sa teed. Ma saaksin siit alla minna ja... Ma saaksin ka siit edasi minna. Ma ei tea. Kiusatus. Okei, me ei tohi, me peame kiusatule vastu panema. Oleme korralik, Stanley.
There was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oleme seal oli see, kuidas mitte vallandatud saada. Ja siis siin oli ära lihtsalt saa vallandatud. Milline hämmastav näpunäide. Näpunäide õige sõna? Wow.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Aga äkki lähme me hoopis alla? Jah, äkki, tead. Nagu ma isegi ei hakka nagu üritama seda teha, et nagu valida, millal nüüd on. Ma lihtsalt oma südametunde järgi lähen sinna. See ei ole nupp, ma mõtlesin, et see on mingi nupp. Vaatame, mis siin on.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
What?
The doors close automatically behind
him
wherever he went. And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply
Holy
repeating?
fuck.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
Oh, what? Ongi, what? Oota, mida?
Conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
What the fuck?
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh my god, mida?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Kindel või? Ma ei tea, kas see on hea idee.
Fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
Oh my god. Why waste?
And while he thought it all and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Hearing
the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
What?
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ma kahtlen selles. Ei ole ma kuhugi läinud.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real.
What?
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I
What?
must be
Mis
real. I
toimub?
must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What? Mis asja? Mis toimub? Seda ma küll ei mäleta.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What the fuck? Mis...
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Huh. Kas sa sai... Okei. Siin on kirjas, the end is never the end, the end is never... Okei, kas... What the fuck, okei, seda ma küll ei mäleta. Ma ei mäletanud, et niimoodi see mäng läks. Aga no... Ja nüüd see hakkas täiesti uuesti lihtsalt.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.